So this is the town of Cass, founded in 1900 by West Virginia Pulp and Paper. 70,000 acres of timber. So there was a bandsaw mill that they had upriver, it says, and there it would connect to the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad along the Greenbriar River. So Mower Lumber Company, they bought the property in 1942 and operated between 42 and 60. And then in 61 is when the state bought the railroad, and it's been a state park ever since, which is why you see it preserved the way that you do. The state understands the history of it. They have a tremendous amount of funding keep this operation going, and honestly this has to be the best scenic railroad east of the Mississippi for sure. I mean, like, we've done so many of them at this point, but nothing is like coming here. Well, friends, welcome to wild and wonderful West Virginia. We are headed right now down to a campground in Durbin that, if you're familiar with the channel, you should also be familiar with the campground. And you'll note that it's very rare that we ever go to the same place twice. The fact that we're going to a place we've already been should tell you that it's a pretty special place. So we have my mom here right now, but Rachel's going to be in and out of the video. She's got some other commitments this weekend, so she's driving down at some point later. The kids are with us, and we are headed to Cass Scenic Railroad State Park. So they were doing this year, for the first time since before COVID, the one I actually wanted to do was sold out long before I intended to get tickets. But they have a second one. They're taking you out in cabooses, so I've never ridden in a caboose before, so that ought to be fun. And that's going to be powered by Climax number 9, which is the only operating Climax in the United States of America. So it should be a unique and special adventure, and we hope you'll stick around to see what the campground's like. We're right now in Kaiser, West Virginia, so we'll be on our way to the campground. Last time we did this, the GPS took us on some road that has a big sign on it that says not suitable for large trucks. So we've planned out a different route. We've got an actual paper map sitting here, and we're kind of going old school here, because to go any of the other GPS options takes you like an hour extra time and like 50 to 60 extra miles, so that's not really the way to go either. So we're following a paper map, and we'll be headed south. Alright, so before it gets too dark to film anything, it's like 7:53 according to this, but I don't think that's right. I think it's like 6:53. But anyhow, we're here at East Fork. We're in Site 8. So like that's our post and water and stuff over there. We're not full hookup, we're just water and electric, which is fine by us for 3 nights, especially given that Rachel's coming and going and stuff. Should be no big deal. I think this actually is the site we had last time we were here, which is pretty fun. This stream is pretty cool. We've had a fire going this morning. We made some breakfast mountain pies. We're just all nestled in all these mountains here. It's pretty cool. We're right on the river here. Bathhouse right across the street. The playground's right across the street. It's just a beautiful setting for a weekend trip. At some point, we're going to put the drone up here and get you some campground footage. But what I want to share with you now is When we were up at Cook's Forest last week, the people in the site next to us actually recognized me. They watched some of our videos on the truck. He has a Ram 6.4 also. Forget his name, but on his truck he had a hitch ball cover. Essentially this. It's just rubber. The philosophy is you put this on there and you don't get the grease from your hitch all over yourself all the time. And it prevents dust and dirt from getting on your ball. So you can leave your hitch on your truck. And I'm getting sick of taking it off all the time and getting grease all over myself. So like, sometimes it's a $2.50 solution. And all you do is just stick it on there just like this. Look, done. No grease. If you bump into it, you won't get greasy. It's just simple stuff like that that makes the world so much easier. So without further ado, we're level. We're here. We're going to get the rest of this stuff set up. We're going to heat up, microwave some stuff for the kids for dinner. Always best to just microwave things on the first night of camping, especially if you arrive late like this. Rachel should be pulling in shortly. And we're just poised for a weekend of fun and adventure over at Cass Scenic Railroad. We're going to be taking you over there for the Caboose Special, Climax Special tomorrow, which is going to be coming back this way actually on the railroad. So let's get this all set up. All right, well, look at what the cat dragged in.
That's weird.
She looks like she's had a fun drive down here through the mountains of West Virginia.
I don't understand how I ended up behind every possible slow person until Seneca, and then after Seneca it was a very lonely drive.
The kids are excited to see her. She's going to help them microwave dinner as soon as we get the slide out here. But
Mommy!
Hi, buddy.
They've seen our YouTube video, and we're the sole reason why they come to this campground.
Stop it. Do they love it?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool.
But all right, let's finish getting this thing set up here. Friends, good morning. Here from East Fork Campground. This morning I just want to tell you and make sure that like none of my thoughts yesterday are misplaced. But first thing is we don't have any affiliation with the campground at all. Actually, these are new owners from the last time we were here, and they just bought the place in November. John, I think, is his name. But similar story to when we were here 3 years ago. Like, the atmosphere is the same, and everything about it's the same, which is great because we do love this place. Our mission as YouTubers or whatever is to kind of get the East Coast RVers kind of out of their comfort zone a little bit. So, like, typically you see people flocking to places like Buttonwood, and I have nothing against Buttonwood. We had a blast there. But a place like this is a totally different atmosphere. You can have loads and loads of fun at a place like this. The amenities here are the view you get out your window in the morning as you wake up, the view you get while you're cooking your sausage, the creek for the kids to play in. They've made a friend with the folks down the way, and so we just hope to inspire you to do different things than just go sit at a campground and pay a bunch of money to have all this stuff thrown at you. A place like this is much more affordable. Of course, you got to drive way out of your way to get here, but you're paying for a different kind of experience. You're having a different kind of experience, and I think it's one that the kids and stuff will remember forever. I don't want to be people thinking that like I think I'm famous now because I've been recognized twice in 2 weeks, but it makes me happy to know that we've inspired people to go do cool things, or that we're helping you learn about your truck and trailer along the way to get to go do cool things with less fatigue and less of a bad experience. So that's what this is for me. I have nothing but gratitude for everybody who's ever watched one of my videos, and if you've watched something that I've put out there and you've gone and had a good experience because of it, let me know down in the comments, because that's the kind of stuff that motivates me. I've been a little bit down on myself and the channel lately because viewership and stuff is down, and I'm pretty hard on myself when it comes to all of that. But this sort of interactions is what inspires me to keep going. So we're gonna get on with our day here. We'll be headed over to Cass shortly, and I'm sure that's what most of you have come here to see. We're gonna explore the town today and hopefully see Big Six off as she heads up the mountain, and it's gonna be a good day. So this griddle here is a nice thing, but it just doesn't seem like it heats evenly. I don't understand why, but if you have one like that came with your camper, let me know. Like if you suffer from the same problems. This is a Titan flame. But you can get a lot of pancakes on here at once, which is why I like to use it for that. But I still do all my meats in the cast iron just because it's easier, it's more consistent, it heats better. And I have to have this stove out for various purposes, so might as well. And the cast iron's easy to clean, easier than that thing for sure. So, but the pancake griddle, the cast iron one I got, you can only do 3 pancakes at a time. So, you know, where does that get you?
So we just saw some dishes sticking up over the tree line and over the fields, and that's the Green Bank Observatory, and that is the main reason why there's no cell phone service in this area still. That observatory is used to monitor signals that are captured from outer space, so they don't want anything like cell phone signals interrupting or getting in the way of their studies that they're conducting there. So
I think if you live too close to it, like in this area, you can't even use a microwave in your house because that would mess with the signals.
We've never been. I think you are allowed to visit, but we have never been, so that's something we'd like to do eventually, but no time this trip either, so we'll have to come back.
Oh good. We get to come back to Cass?
Darn it.
What a shame.
What a shame.
We're getting close though. We're hoping to get there by 11 o'clock to see Big Six take the spruce train up the mountain. Then we'll see our own train come into the station hopefully shortly after that.
Where are we?
We're at a train station. So we're gonna ride a train, a caboose train.
All right, my friends, welcome back to Cass Scenic Railroad. My favorite place in West Virginia for sure, if not my favorite place that there is now. I'm not showing you much right this minute, but that's because I'm walking over here, getting away from people. I've got a permit to fly the drone here at the state park. We're gonna get Big Six's departure, and then hopefully we'll get climax number 9 coming in here in a little bit. That's the train we're gonna be riding. So I'm pretty stoked about this whole thing. We just gotta get the drone in the air and try to preserve its battery power to get me through this. meantime, while we're waiting for our train, we're going to explore the historic logging town of Cass. Everything here is left the way that it was back in the 1950s. As you can see around me, it's straight out of the 1950s, or obviously earlier, because it was I think it was a logging town for a long, long time. I'll try to get a date for you, but this right here is the company hotel. They had few accommodations for travelers, but they did have accommodations for single men, it says, that were working with the logging company, or the railroad for that matter. The homes in town were all rented by families working for the logging company or the railroad. Like Pennsylvania and everything around here, this was all kind of left a barren wasteland, and they kept extending the track as they needed to get lumber farther away and bring it back. It says Cass's population would have peaked in the 1920s. This building over here would have been the church. Originally, it was several religions used one church, but then eventually as the town grew, they each had their own space, and this became officially a Presbyterian church. Now it's considered a community center, and beside it here there was a Masonic lodge, so that's what that building over there is. So they had a whole town associated with all the logging operations here. Okay, so I'm going to have to read a little bit here, but from 1902 to 1942, this was the home of George T. Piney Williams, and he was an engineer on Shea Locomotive number 11, and he brought in more logs than any other engineer in the history of the company. Looks like he had quite a big family, and this house they dedicated to his children and grandchildren and all that stuff. So I guess if you're a bootlegger, you could end up in here for 35 years. Rachel thinks that's a little bit excessive.
I do. I guess I'm an outlaw because that sounds absurd.
Yeah, she's an outlaw. It says by the early 1900s, the town grew so big that they had to come up with a place to deal with rule breakers. And so right here you have the jail. You can stay here in this town. You can rent some of they're not cabins.
They're not cabins, but the
company houses.
The company houses, yeah.
I think it's a pretty expensive endeavor, but it would be pretty cool experience, I think, to stay here with the train whistles and all that stuff. Now, of course, we're going to get some train whistles at the campground in Durbin, and we really enjoy that campground, so I can't imagine staying anyplace else. But
I think it would be cool to stay here because it's almost got like a ghost town vibe, because it's not really a full town, thriving, living town anymore. It's, for all intents and purposes, like...
It is a ghost town.
It is a ghost town, so I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Now, they are building a campground here too, 100 sites, and it's to open next year. There was just an announcement from the governor not that long ago, so that could be an option for you too if you want to stay here in the ghost town of Cass. And I think the campground's going to be just down this way, so then you could walk to and from the trains. It'd be a nice experience, I think. Now, this building here looks like it originally was the grocery store, so everything was in walking distance back in the day. I mean, probably none of these people had cars. Of course, in the early 1920s, before that, there weren't cars, so the railroad was your transportation. And the first school here at Cass would have been located just right here. So, as you can see, some of the buildings no longer exist, however, a good portion of them do. We're going to walk back down to the company store. I'll give you some history of the locomotives and stuff. And then we're going to be riding climax number 9. This is Moore and Keppel, climax number 9, the only operating climax locomotive in the country. How it works is it's got that big climax piston there. It rotates, and it's got a gearbox like a differential in a car, and the main drive shaft down the center runs all the wheels. Make a tremendous amount of power and torque, just like the Shays. Over there you'll see Shea 11. You may recognize that from when we were here several years ago. And that train is going to Bald Knob, the same excursion that we did in the past. Now this is going to be a pretty unique experience for me and the kids and everybody, because we're going to be riding in one of these cabooses here, and personally I've never ridden in a caboose to go anywhere, so I think that ought to be a lot of fun. This is about an hour excursion. We're going towards Durbin, but we're not going the whole way to Durbin.
This changes color in the sun though. That's really cool.
The amount of moving parts on this thing that need to be lubricated before and after each trip, and pretty much an example of why steam locomotives are no longer the main method of transportation, right? An incredible amount of labor goes into running these things. As cool as they are, it's just not feasible. That's a break. made it back to the campground safely, and I think everyone had a good day, right?
Yeah.
What about the caboose? Did you like the caboose?
The caboose was really cool. You were allowed to sit in like the upstairs, for lack of a better term, and that was just a really special view that
I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
that was really cool.
And that's where the brakemen would have like hung out so they could see what was going on, you know, down the line or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was historic, it was fun, good views. Join us again next week. We're going to head up to Whitaker. They've recreated the logging camp up there for you to see, and so we're going to go check that out and learn more about the logging history of the area, and it should be a fun day. Plus, we'll be making some campfire chili in next week's episode, so you won't want to miss out on that. We'll see you next week, Thursday at 5 o'clock, just like always.